Sorry. Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here, and I thought I would do a really short video this week around gentle movement. So, gentle movement is another way of saying how you move your body in a non-obsessive kind of way. And I find that most of us tend to fall into two categories when it comes to movement. Either we are or were once obsessive exercisers, using exercise as a way to repress and numb out emotions, as well as vigorously and excessively trying to change the body. And then I find that people also fall in the camp of people who just are very hesitant around movement because they've had some pretty bad experiences. And it can range from being young and not having access to safe, fun activity, and so just never having the habit of it. It could be living in a family that just didn't have a lot of physical playtime together, so the children were never taught, as well as going up through school, or maybe you were always picked last, or the exercises were not titrated to learn how to get better at the movements to feel comfortable. And then, of course, being teased for your abilities. And then later on in life, as we go along, if our bodies aren't the cultural ideal, being made to feel shame for even doing the activities we might like to be doing. So there's a lot of reasons why we might be hesitant. For me, I even went through a period of exercise kind of hesitance or resistance that it kind of was a big boomerang for me. I was very obsessive for many, many years. And then I went to I don't want to do anything because all of it feels like drudgery and worry, because it was my worth was so hooked in with how much I worked out. And it wasn't even about it wasn't really that good at changing my body. I mean, it did. I gained a lot of muscle. I probably was technically physically fit, but I certainly was never happy. It was just I was only happy in the moments I was doing these really difficult activities. And I wouldn't say happy. The feeling was relief. Okay, good. I've ran away from my shame, literally ran away from my shame for this last hour, and lifted weights for this last hour, to I don't feel those feelings anymore. And as soon as it was over, I was planning for the next thing, and I was also planning for how to not eat, to also go along with all the excessive exercising I was doing. So, and I will say that I think that it's easier for us to get into that pattern if you do have a history, it's interesting, of playing sports. So something that probably once started out as something really enjoyable and challenging, and for me, sports were the only outlet I ever had to feel like I could be assertive and not feel like I was a bad person for that. And so sports were hugely, it was probably the only place I had in my life that helped me feel more assertive in my body without shame, which is really great. However, when you play sports, the other side of it is that, especially if any sports, I guess, team sports, or any individual sports that you're competitive at, when you have lots of competition, bug bites, when there's a competitive aspect to it, you're going to be pushed, to your edge or past sometimes. And that happened especially when I played basketball. When you have conditioning, you run your guts out and you do drills for 2 hours. It's extremely difficult. So I did have that just do it Nike mentality around physical movement, which made the obsessiveness easy to take hold. So I will say that when you have a sports background, I think it's easier. However, I think it's really important to start to recognize the middle ground. So how to get to the middle ground with movement is, just like with the food, start to really tune in and check into what does your body want? What kind of movements would feel good in any situation? And I actually personally do a lot of something called cycle syncing with my activity, meaning certain times of the month, certain activities feel really good. So basically, after my period, I have more energy. So those tends to be the 2 weeks where if I do any jogging or more sports related kind of things, it's more those times. And then especially the last week before my period and the days before, I tend to be more into just more gentle stuff because that's what my body feels it needs. So I really do notice those signals and honor that the best I can. I also have periods of time where I don't do anything because life is busier or nothing's really striking me is that interesting to do besides maybe doing some swimming and some walking. That's about it. And just some grounding on the floor, just more so to help me emotionally than anything else. So I would say that if you're coming from a very obsessive background, starting to tune into those cues is really important. And the thing I have to say to you is that you will have to do what you have to do around slowing that down, which is you might have to stop exercise altogether for a while and then come to it in a way of how much is enough. I know for me, I didn't go cold turkey when I first started, but I really started like, how much do I really want to do this activity? And I stopped running obsessively, but if I did run, I would check in with like, okay, does this feel far enough? So it might only be 15 minutes I would jog, and then, and that would be it. And I would feel that need to stop, and I would just stop and walk the rest of the way back home. Or if I was indoors, I would just stop what I was doing. So it could be 15 minutes, 27 minutes. It really wouldn't matter the time. I would stop where I feel like I'm pushing myself because I need to hit a certain number. Or if it was head oriented, I would stop. Basically, if it was body oriented, I would definitely more listen to that. So you may need to change your scenery with what you're doing, as well as the activities in general. There's exercises I use in my sessions called motives to move. And those basically a set of questions and just walking people through, like, what is it you want to get from your movement, whether it's peacefulness or strength. So you want to gear your activities towards that and not towards activities that feel the opposite. Like, if you're looking for peacefulness, you're not going to pick activities that are super competitive, like playing tennis or something. You might pick swimming or walking or hiking. And so you're going to get more of that intrinsic value of moving than you would if you're choosing activities that have such a performance or calorie burning thing in mind. So if you're coming from the other spectrum of I can't get going, it may just be that you give yourself permission to just let yourself get going, which is 1 minute. 1 minute of anything, whether it's like 1 minute jogging in place in your house, or 1 minute of stretching, or yoga, or Pilates, or one round around your house, and that's it. To feel like, okay, this is not about burning calories, this is not about me earning any worth. That's just about me wanting to be more present in my body and feel what is my body wants me to do. So, and I will say that a benefit of joyful movement and a regular movement practice, as you eventually get to it, is that it does make your hunger or fullness signals, I think, a little bit more sharp and noticeable. It's just because you have more body awareness. So that's the other benefit. So hopefully this video was helpful. There's so much more to say on this, and I can't really do it. I don't want to, again, make hours long videos on YouTube for you to get through, but I just want to give you something to be thinking about, and just 1 or 2 little things to experiment with and see how it goes. Please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear about it. To get in touch with